All right, well, just while people continue to sign on, I am going to go ahead and do a short welcome and intro before we get started. I do want to make sure we have plenty of time to answer any questions you guys may have because we do have a pretty big group signed up for today's session. And I know that this topic is always a hot one amongst our clients. So thank you everyone for joining us for the 5th course with Natalie Kenny Marquez, using social media to promote your online store. We do have one more session after this one coming up in 2 weeks, so please feel free to join us for that one. As most of you know who have joined us before, you will receive a follow-up email. However, that email will be a little delayed this week. It is Ag Tech Week in Champaign-Urbana, so we do have quite a few events going on, and tomorrow we have the Ag Tech Summit with the research part. So I will be out of the office. That follow-up email will go out Wednesday morning, and it will include the copy of Natalie's presentation along with PDFs of the worksheets and resources that she shares throughout her presentation. You'll also receive a recording of today's session. So if there's something you want to go back and listen to again, you can do that as well. If there's something you may have missed or just want to check out again, access to all of that will be available in that follow-up email. And we also have a handful of community partners who have helped make this session with Natalie possible. So I am going to include links to all of their websites in the follow-up email so that you can check out their organizations as well and the resources they have available to you and your small business. So I will go ahead and hand it over to Natalie and we can get started.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here today in our 5th out of 6 courses in this e-commerce marketing series. Today we're going to talk all about social media as a way to promote your online store. If this is your first class, you may have missed out on a few things in courses 1 through 4 because I have tried to build upon each topic as we move along, but like Jordan had mentioned, you can find some of these things online. But if this is your first class today, we're happy to have you here, and we'll go ahead and get started. And if you have any questions, I'm super casual, just add it into the chat and I'll be sure to answer them, and we'll keep moving along. So social media, it's kind of an overwhelming topic. You know, a lot of us really consider it to be crucial for our business in order to connect with consumers and stay relevant. But it also takes a lot of work. And for many of the small business owners that I work with, it can be pretty overwhelming to stay on top of it. But really what we're finding is that consumers are really dependent upon social media to find what they want online in regards to e-commerce. A recent Salesforce survey says 85% of consumers conduct research before they make a purchase online. And of the most used channels for the research, it's websites and it's social media. I know we had recently talked about websites, and so now we're going to talk about the social media part and why it's really important for you to have an effective digital strategy when it comes to increasing brand awareness on your social media. Having a digital presence gives your brand really an ideal platform to communicate with your consumers. It gives you the opportunity to set the narrative on who you are as a brand and set yourself apart from competitors. You have that opportunity with social media. You put the content out there, you set the branding, you really set the narrative. And more than just your website, your digital presence expands to touch all the points a consumer may have with your brand online. You know, obviously, website is huge because that's where they're going to go to make purchases, but it also includes social media, where there's a lot of conversations happening about your brand in the comments. There's people sharing information about your brand, online reviews, which we'll go into more detail next week in our final class. So really, to put your best foot forward in front of your customers, I really encourage you to really dive into your brand online on social media, and we're going to help you do that today. One of the questions that I get asked all the time is, how many platforms should I be on with social media? And I'm always really hesitant to answer that question because it really depends on you and your business. There are so many social media platforms out there for everything and everyone, including ones to connect people with shared interests, similar hobbies, comparable demographics, whatever that is, there's a social media platform for you. take a second to look at the graphic on this slide and learn more about the platforms that you can consider for your e-commerce business. We've got Facebook, we've got YouTube, Instagram, Twitter or X, LinkedIn, TikTok, Snapchat. There are so many different platforms, but what I'm trying to show you is that not every platform may be the right platform for your business. And I'll explain more about why here coming up soon, but as a little teaser, specifically look at things like the people that are on those platforms, the content that's shared on those platforms, the strategies that are kind of summarized in that column for each of the platforms, and maybe some of the cons. I encourage you to think about the pros and cons of the platforms that you are using right now, because the point is that there are way too many social media platforms out there for you to be active on all of them. Don't compare yourself to brands like, Nike or, big, huge companies, because they have entire parts of their business running their socials for them. So hear me loudly and clearly, you cannot be on all of these platforms and be successful on all of them unless you have people working full time to make that magic happen. So my guess is that based on the fact that you're a small business or a startup, your time would be better spent focusing on the social media platforms that will help you reach your goals. And those are platforms where your current audience hangs out. So before we dive into the next slide, I have a question for the group, and I'd love for you to answer in the chat. What platforms do you currently use to promote your online business? Or if you are just getting started, I'd love to know what platforms you're interested in using to promote your online business. So go ahead and drop the answer to that question or those questions in the chat, and we will kind of take a look through those as we move on to the next slide. Jackie says LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Maggie says Facebook and Instagram, mostly Instagram, as we've integrated it to auto post a lot to Facebook. Angela says interested in Instagram and YouTube. Jana says YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Sunny says YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Kim's on LinkedIn. Otis is on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. All right, so a lot of similarities there. Let's see, yep, more of the same, nothing new popping out here. Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Cool. All right. Well, one of the things to really make a successful social media marketing strategy is to put you in contact with your most receptive audience. So I don't suggest to choose a platform where your audience doesn't hang out, because then you're really going to be wasting your time. There's really no field of dreams opportunity when it comes to using the social media platform of your choice just because you've created a profile on it. Instead, it's much better to analyze which platforms your audience prefers and seek them out on those networks that they already use. So a key thing to do when starting this process is to conduct some audience research and define a buyer persona. By now, you should already know what you're looking for, and kind of narrow down the social media platforms that your customers use based on different types of demographics. And we'll look at this example that I created for it's my good friend Mindy on the screen. So I used her as an example of just a community shopper, somebody that likes to support local business in the community and shops online, and does some buying and selling on social media, and so pretty familiar with the community. She actually filled this out, so I didn't just make it up for her, but I thought it was a good example because you kind of can see some of the decision points that are important to the individual or that audience persona, age group, education, whether or not they have a family, where their geography, their location, what they do for a living, ways they are influenced, brands that they follow. These are really important because it kind of helps you better define where your audience might hang out on social media. It's also important to note that your audience personas are going to vary between networks. Audiences on TikTok, as we saw in the last slide, are younger than audiences on Facebook. And this is really the reality. And if you use the same content across both networks, it's possible that it won't resonate the same way with a younger audience as it does with a more mature audience. When you get these slides tomorrow, you can take a look back to that graphic from the last slide and see the average age demographic breakdown based on popular social media platforms. So to this end, it's best to create multiple personas based on your marketing efforts. First, I want you to start with your customer base and then kind of map them to the different social media networks that are used. So, maybe one network might target other small business owners, while your Instagram account targets millennial parents. You'll find some really great information about some of these demographics in your analytics that can really help you out and help you hone in on the audiences that engage with you on each of those social media platforms. And like I said, having these established personas for each network helps you narrow down your content ideas and maybe even adjust your voice and the content that goes out. Before I move on to the next slide, I saw that there was a question. Why didn't I include WhatsApp? Great question. Let's see. Yep, I guess Jordan already answered it for me. Since it's more of a communication or messaging platform, I haven't generally included it in social media. It obviously can be a really beneficial platform for certain types of businesses. Some of the small businesses that I've worked with here in Champaign-Urbana haven't really ventured into that so much, and so I haven't included it so much on some of these broader presentations, but would be happy to chat with you outside of the course if you want to talk more about using WhatsApp for your business. Great question. All right. So after you've decided where you're going to live on social media, the next thing is to make sure that you are doing each platform justice. So expanding upon different platforms to your target audience is important, and then also branding each of those platforms to capture the attention of your audience and be consistent with the rest of your digital efforts is also important. I want to make sure that when you create or update your profiles that you're being really consistent with your branding. Obviously, an ongoing theme of mine throughout all of the courses, branding, consistency. When your customer goes from your social media to your website, everything should look consistent in the logo, the color palette, the bio, description, even the handle that you use, consistent with your URL. That makes it easier for the customer. I know it's a lot of work on your part, but the goal is to make it easier for your customer. Although some companies like to change their logo styling just slightly between networks, depending on how small or large the allotted space is for their image, and also for the interests of those specific audiences. Maybe your logo has a horizontal and a vertical version. Maybe there's an icon version. Maybe you offer different colors based on your branding guidelines. Totally something to consider when you go through and start building out your profiles. Whatever you choose to do, the most important thing is to ensure that your profiles have a common thread that people will recognize. Consistency is key. And so to help you kind of audit where you're at with your social media, I have a handout that will come to you through Jordan, and it's a way for you to audit the platforms that you're on or that you plan to be on, and make sure that you know what that URL is, know what your handle is, make sure you have the right name and the title, make sure that you have the correct profile image, cover image, description. So it's kind of a chance for you to go down and go through everything, write all of those down, and make sure that you're being consistent across the board. As you audit your social media presence, I want you to make a point to double check that your profiles match when it comes to creatives and promotions and campaigns, so that there is consistency. I also always like to make a little side note for businesses that conduct a lot of seasonal campaigns or promotions. You really need to assess your platform branding more often, because as you're adding and removing campaign-specific branding, sometimes it's easy to forget to go back and pull it down after a sale or a promotion, or a holiday, to really get out there in advance if you're putting new stuff up for an upcoming season or a launch of something. Obviously we see these things in brick and mortar stores. Gosh, I think Easter stuff came out like right after Christmas. I imagine, I don't know, 4th of July stuff will be out pretty soon. Who knows? You get the point. Basically, it's getting ahead and making sure that you are getting any kind of seasonal branding or graphics posted at the right time and removed at the right time, so everything looks fresh and current. Engagement is also super crucial when it comes to your social media efforts. Why? Well, basically because the social media platforms say it's important. Organic reach is dropped on almost every social media platform in the recent years. If some of you are active in social media, you've probably noticed that. However, accounts with higher social media engagement are the least affected by these changes. In fact, Facebook uses meaningful engagement as an important signal that a post should be prioritized. So in other words, social media posts that have more active and thoughtful interactions will get more reach. Facebook explained it as, quote, interacting with people is associated with a greater sense of well-being. On the other hand, just scrolling through your Facebook feed, passively reading or watching without interacting with others tends to make people feel worse. So that's why they prioritize engagement on their platform. Your customers expect you to engage as well. People love seeing and sharing positive interactions between brands and real people. Answering a complaint on social media can actually increase your customer advocacy by as much as 25%. Like I said, we're going to talk about reviews next week, but it's something to remember. Plus, every public back and forth, hopefully positive, but whatever. All those back and forths also count as further engagement, which feeds back into your overall reach. There's been a lot of talk about algorithms and changes and things like that, making it harder to get new fans on your platforms. But really, it all comes down to engagement. If you want to grow your audience, you need people to share your content. And the question is, what do you need to post in order to get people to share? So I have a handout of some ideas of ways that you can increase engagement on your social media. You'll get that in your email, but they're just ideas, topics, options, things that you can do to, be inspired as you're curating your content. Facebook, it collects a lot of data about its users, like demographics, education level, interest, hobbies, and more. Like we talked about with the audience personas, you can get a lot of that information on the back end. So as a business, you can use this information to better target your message to your specific audience, and that will resonate better with the audience and create more engagement. Facebook and Instagram have been pretty explicit about how well videos perform. So integrating video into your content strategy is a super smart move. We'll talk about viral reach in an upcoming slide, but I think we've all seen videos that have performed super well or have been shared with us because someone wants us to watch it. And so video is a great way to be engaging with your audience. Let's see, I've also wanted to make sure that we talk about timing of your posts. I've seen firsthand how the best times to post on social media and timing and engagement correlate. I've also seen how people that I work with have spent a lot of time on content and pushed it out because it is a time that works great for them, but the posts just kind of fall flat. So optimizing your content timing isn't the kind of end all be all of engagement, but it does increase the likelihood that your latest posts are actually seen. In terms of timing, I try to avoid maybe first thing Monday morning or late on Friday, because maybe people, depending on what you are sharing or what you're selling or what your services are, those might be harder times to engage with them. In the case of let's see, a kind of a nod to working with Shambana Moms and a client that sells women's clothing. We have done some collaborative work together, and our best times of engagement have been 8 o'clock on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings, because the target audience is women. They have kids that they've probably put to bed, and they might be scrolling and able to engage at that time. So really, the point is making sure you know who your audience is, a little bit more about them, and that will really help you to understand when to post the content. Let's see, Otis asks, by organic, do you mean interactive? By organic, I mean that it is originated without any type of payment to make it go further. So it was purely just something that you put out, and it reached people in a way that wasn't boosted, or that you didn't pay for it to get that reach. So hopefully that helps answer that question. Also, in addition to time of your post, I always encourage businesses to try a new feature on a platform as opposed to starting a whole new platform. Rather than overcomplicate your life or overextend your capacity, because I know you're very busy as a business owner, I suggest that you try a new feature on a current platform, like Instagram and Facebook have stories. There's Reels. I know that there's been a lot of folks using YouTube Shorts. Those are all great options. Obviously, there's other opportunities on other platforms, but the point is to try to do new things on the platform that you're already on to engage with your customers before moving on to something else just because it's shiny and new. Also, about engaging with your audience, let's talk about optimizing your content. Simply put, you can't treat any single social media platform as just like a dumping ground for content, especially when that content isn't the right content to push out on that platform. Specifically, make a point to craft unique captions. And for example, don't include needless hashtags or use the exact same captions every time. Craft unique captions that will resonate with the audience on that platform. Avoid posting only external links. Focus on formats that keep people on the platform, like videos, reels, stories, engaging content, and so on. Consider including a call to action to drive discussion. That's always a great idea. These tips are crucial for organic reach, meaning you're not going to pay for them to get in front of eyeballs. And that way you will get more love from social media and their ever-changing algorithm if you have posts that really resonate and engage well with people in an organic way. One question that I get a lot, is how often should I post? I would rather see you post consistently over time than a bunch of posts one week and none for weeks after that. I encourage you to find a schedule that works for you. One thing that I like to do is plan at least a month in advance when it comes to social media. And so I grab a calendar at the start of the year and I write down things that I know that are important to hit in every single month. And then I start to build out my calendar around holidays, promotional campaigns, ways that I know that I can be proactive about posting instead of reactive. I'm sure we've all been in the situation where there's a seasonal promotion coming up. Oh my gosh, it's in a week. I've got to do a billion things in order to make it happen. But if you had that on your radar and you're planning at least a month in advance, or 4 to 6 weeks, it really is ideal. Then that way you can make sure to know any kind of order cutoffs on the calendar, so that you can include that in your post. Placing an order in time to reach someone by a holiday, those types of things are really important. Especially for e-commerce, having things like Cyber Monday, Black Friday, online only sales, really getting these campaigns set and planned in advance and being able to schedule them out and then supplement those posts and campaigns with more timely and of the moment types of posts, things that you come up with on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis. like short little videos or photos or reels. But I would recommend it, that's really a tough question. I would want to know a little bit more about each business before I say how many times to post in a week. But it all comes down to being consistent. And if what you're posting people aren't engaging with, then maybe spend a little more time on curating the content than actually posting content out there that people aren't responding to. So go back through in your analytics and kind of see of the content that you've posted recently, what posts have performed the best? What was that post about? Learn a little bit about the demographics of the people that engaged with that post and try to start building some more content, kind of like that. I created some best practices on this handout that I hope will be helpful for all of you. If you've been in my other courses, I love handouts. So we have 3, I think, at least for today's class. And so this one gives you some bullet points of building, I say the perfect post. Perfect is an unattainable thing. So we'll say building the nearly perfect post, talking about captions, mentions, hashtags, and variety. So something for you to look at afterward. And let's see, Jolene, can you post too much? Yes, you can post too much. Is once a week good? Once a week may be good for the type of business that you have. More than once a week could be good if you are doing maybe one, kind of standard post, maybe one story and one reel. That could be an idea. I would want to know more about what type of business you have, what type of e-commerce efforts you have. Are you doing other things like email marketing? Are you doing other things on your website? Are there other ways that you're connecting with your audience? Really, it's to keep your audience engaged and your business top of mind for the items, products, services that you sell. And so coming up with a schedule where you can effectively do that and efficiently do it within your calendar, your schedule is really important. So getting in front of eyeballs obviously is important. And so when it comes to boosted posts and ads on social media, specifically Facebook and Instagram, I want you to think back to what your goals are for your marketing efforts. We talked about goal setting in some of the beginning courses. You can go back through and watch those, but really what it comes down to is having goals that are important either based on a campaign, based on your business, that you can set up some metrics for and understand what needs to happen in order to reach those goals and to go back and review to make sure that you attain those goals. So some goals could be reached by boosting a post and others could be reached by creating an ad. And so I thought I'd review those terms and what that means, especially because I feel like I've had a few people email me in the past couple of weeks asking more about boosted posts and ads and needing help with that. And so I thought, why not add that to one of my slides for today? So boosted posts is a post to your page's timeline that you can apply money to in order to boost it to an audience of your choosing. This is really the simplest way to advertise on Facebook. Boosted posts differ from ads on Facebook because they're not created in the Meta Ads Manager and don't have all of the same customization features. When you boost a post, it'll show up in your audience's Facebook feed as an ad. You can also select Instagram as an ad placement for your boosted post. You can choose a post that's already present on your page's timeline and boost it by following only a few steps. When you boost a post, what you'll do is you'll say 3 things to the platform: who you want to reach, you'll pick your target audience and the type of people you want to connect with. Again, that goes back to really understanding your audience and who you want to target and see what it is that you are sharing. You'll also need to come up with a budget. You'll want to tell them exactly how much you want to spend over the course of your entire campaign. And so knowing your audience, how much you want to spend is really important. And then you also need to tell them how long you want to run your ad. So again, thinking ahead 4 to 6 weeks for any type of promotion, sale, things like that. It's going to be really important in planning out some of these components to let people know what's going on with your business. So once you clarify all of that with the platform, you click boost and your ad is approved. People in your target audience will see your ad in their feed for the duration that you've set. A quick note, boosted posts are still considered ads because they require a budget to be shared with a wider audience. That's really the core similarity that it shares with Facebook ads. So when you receive your bill, your boosted post will be identified as an ad. Clear as mud, right? All right, so Facebook ads, while boosting a post is still considered an ad, Facebook ads are created through the ads manager and offer more advanced customized solutions. So there are many different advertising objectives to help you reach your specific business goals and the audience you care about. A quick note, each ad is going to have its own goal. So really consider that when you go to come up with the type of metrics that you want to track to decide whether or not that was a successful ad. Not every post that you put out there, not every ad that you run can achieve every goal you have for your business. It just doesn't work that way. So pick one goal and go all in on that for the content that you push out. So back to explaining ads, where a boosted post may initially optimize for page likes, comments, and shares, or overall brand awareness, an ad can optimize for app installs, website conversions. That's great for you e-commerce businesses. It can also optimize for video views, shop orders. Great, another great thing for you all. So Facebook ads, really you get to choose different ad placements. When you boost a post, you'll be able to check or uncheck whether or not you want to place your ad in Instagram in addition to Facebook. But with ads, you get the added benefit of choosing placements in like the Facebook feed, those side ads, or in the Messenger ads and Instagram stories. There's all sorts of options for placements. Ad objectives are also really helpful because it helps you to focus on which campaign type best aligns with your goal. So you can choose objectives like leads, app promotions, and sales. Those are all great. Also with ads, you get to maintain creative control. Again, another great reason to have brand guidelines in place. That way you can have some of your imagery and graphics and things on hand to be able to use in different formats and for different audiences. The other thing that is important to you as the business owner is to go back into your ads account and see how well your ads and performed, your ads or your boosted posts. You can see what your reach was, engagement, clicks, shares. All of this is going to help you to determine if you achieved a good return on your investment and also help you decide how much to spend and for how long to advertise when you run another paid digital promotion. So again, having some of this information is going to be really helpful in coming up with solid campaigns that you can push out through social media. If you've never done anything like this before, I really encourage you to give it a try and see what the results are. Kind of compare it to what you've done in the past organically and decide, what is a good timeline for me to really launch a campaign for a promotion, for a sale, for a product launch. It really will give you some good insights as the business owner on what you can do and what's available to you. Another great thing available to you is selling on Instagram. 50% of Instagram users follow brands on Instagram, and a ton, like literally a ton of them rely on Instagram to buy products promoted by influencers, to research new products. Businesses have a great potential to make a lot of money maintaining an Instagram presence, but you need a strategy that nurtures potential customers and turns them into, really profitable long-term relationships. So first of all, before you do anything selling wise on Instagram, I want to make sure that you optimize your link in your bio. Businesses of really long been calling for clickable links in Instagram posts, but it doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. But there is a workaround. You can put a link in your main Instagram profile bio and drive traffic that way to your online store. It could be the homepage of your site, but it could also include several links, including a product you've just promoted, a new service you've offered, things like that. Then in the Instagram caption on your post, you can have a call to action to direct people to your Instagram bio. Also, a lot of platforms are evolving to capture purchases through the network. Instagram, like I said, is one of those. Instagram Shops. It allows your e-commerce business to upload your product catalog directly to the app. Side note, not every e-commerce website that you use allows that integration. Some don't play as nicely across platforms, but many of them do. And so that way customers can view the Instagram shop, your Instagram shop, to browse and buy items without even leaving the Instagram app. I did some research on this because before I really decided to tell you to do this, I wanted to make sure it was going to be super solid for all of you. And it is. 130 million people click on Instagram shopping posts each month. So if you're not using them, you're missing out on potential e-commerce sales and revenue. Another tidbit factoid is that shoppable posts can boost brand traffic by 2,600%. That's pretty awesome. Let's see. Shopping posts, they're pretty similar to standard posts, but one key difference is they are clickable. So you want to make sure that you have an Instagram business profile and that you upload product photos to your profile. You tag products you're talking about, directing users to a particular product page on your website. Ultimately, the goal is to really make them purchase without forcing them to head to the link in your bio. Also, Instagram stories. 500 million people use stories every day. We like short little tidbits of information and we want to go through it quickly. That's just the way we are these days. But for e-commerce businesses like yours, stories have huge revenue potential. Let's see, 58% of Instagram users say they become more interested in a brand after seeing their stories. So if you're not using stories and you're on Instagram, I think that this is a sign to start using stories. Another half of Instagram users have visited a website and purchased after seeing a product or service in stories. But as we know, follower count isn't everything. But when it comes to Instagram stories, it's really great to know how many people are following and seeing those stories. Let's see. One important thing to note is that only verified accounts or those with more than 10,000 followers can use the swipe up feature to send people from your story to a landing page. But don't worry if you don't meet that criteria. If you have an Instagram shop, you can tag products in your Instagram stories and it gives you the chance to send people to a specific product, even though it's not directly on your website. So there are workarounds to make that happen. I think really just Instagram is a great way to connect with your audience. If your target audience is on Instagram, my guess is it probably is. But you know, some of you may be doing something very different and they're not on Instagram. However, it really is a super powerful platform to develop some really deep and strong relationships with your followers. You can share content pretty consistently. You can promote engagement. It's easy to share content about your company and products, ask for their opinions. You can turn popular Instagram posts into ads like we talked about, which is really great way to advertise organic posts that are performing really well and throw a little bit of money at them and boost them so that a wider audience can see them. So if you're not on Instagram or you're not using it in this capacity, like stories and store and things like that, I would definitely give it a try. I did want to make a special note about going viral. On more than one occasion, I've had a business come to me and say they want to go viral. I said, well, that's great, but although going viral is great for awareness, what is important to me is to see conversion from people who engage with your post to become people that buy things from you. And so on the left is my good friend Leah, who used to live and work in Champaign-Urbana. She has an awesome business called Polished Prints. I saw in her stories that they had a reel go viral for her business, but it didn't really lead to any extra business, maybe 100 new followers, but no known sales. And so her words of wisdom were just a reminder to my business buds that these moments don't automatically lead to results. You know, going viral is cool. It feels good. But if it doesn't get anybody to buy anything, was it really worth it? I don't know. The other thing on this slide is this picture of this couple, Jan and I'm assuming her husband. I actually took this picture when I used to run the farmers market in Urbana. This is at least 10, if not more years ago. And this couple was so cute, and it was a busy market day. I snapped this photo. I posted it on Urbana's Market at the Squares. Oh gosh, I guess it was probably Instagram, maybe Facebook. I can't really remember at this point, but it totally went viral. And the market, I just Googled this photo, if lost, return to Jan, the other day, just to show you that, now it's 2024, at least 10 years after we took this. And somebody on Etsy is selling this on their shop, matching shirts for couples. And it has the picture on there. And the only way that you can tell that this came from Urbana's Market at the Square is the tiny little banner from the light pole over in the corner. But, the market didn't really receive any benefit from it going viral. There is no kind of credit given back to it being from the farmer's market. So again, another example of going viral isn't all it's hyped up to be. Oh, I want questions. Angela, how do you get a verified Instagram account? Maggie, if you're disabled from advertising on Instagram, can you still sell items? Oh, lots of great questions. I will put some instructions for verification together and get them to Jordan so that she can pass them along in the email. Let me make a note of that really quickly. And if you're disabled from advertising on Instagram, can you still sell items? Oh, that's a great question. I would want to tinker around with the account and see if we can figure out how to fix that and get you set up, or come up with a workaround, Maggie. If you want to, my contact information you probably have, but I'll show it on the last screen for everybody to see. But any of you are always welcome to reach out with these types of questions. I'm happy to help you troubleshoot. We could do a screen share and kind of go through some things. That way I can see what's going on and what we can do to hopefully solve what issues you're having. I've heard these types of things from lots of business owners. You are not alone. Some weird things happen with accounts sometimes, especially if you have multiple people helping out and logging into accounts, or have admin rights or access to accounts. Crazy things can happen. Oh, promoted CBD products once, so that led to a ban. I think that we can work that out. I believe that there's workarounds for that. Actually, when you go through and you do ads and promotions, it talks about different types of products as one of the questions. So there's obviously more happening in some of those industries online. And so things have changed over time, but we'll work on that, Maggie, and see if I can help you out. Metrics. I always kind of try to save the data stuff for the end of the presentation, so I don't lose any of you throughout, because I know metrics can be kind of boring, sometimes a little bit overwhelming, but really they're super important to review and help you understand, really the performance of your social media, how you're doing, what you can do to adjust things, and how you can, really thrive based on the feedback that you're getting from your reports. Metrics in social media give you a lot of information about your audience. We know that, we've learned that today, the types of content and topics that they're most interested in, how well your efforts are going to build brand awareness, and whether or not you're successful in encouraging your followers to really enter your sales funnel. So it's not just looking at the metrics that you have on your socials, but also the metrics on the back end of your e-commerce website. So gaining these insights, you can really modify campaigns moving forward, and make sure that you're not wasting your time and your money and your effort on these types of promotions. Again, what was your goal when you put the campaign out there, when you put the post out there, when you engaged with that platform? Your social media goals are what will help you determine what metrics to look at. For every goal, you need a related metric, which will help determine if your strategy is hitting the mark. For example, your goal may be to increase conversions. Therefore, your social media goal becomes increasing conversions from those that visit your site via posts that are part of your strategy. So now that you have a goal in mind, you can clearly identify which social media metrics to measure and a time frame in which to measure them. Another example, increasing conversions from social by 25% in a 3-month span. Maybe that was your goal. So to meet that goal, you decide to run a campaign that will include ads, product tags, and maybe an influencer. So to measure this, you determine that you'll look at the social traffic and conversion rate metric from those posts in your website analytics. Hopefully I relayed that correctly. I'll say it one more time. So perhaps your goal was to increase conversions from social by 25% in a 3-month time span. So to measure that you met that goal, after you run the campaign that included, maybe some ads and some product tags and an influencer, you determine that by measuring the social traffic and the conversion rate metric from those posts in your website analytics, you'll decide whether or not that goal was hit. So having the ability to bounce back and forth between your e-commerce website analytics and your social media metric analytics will be really helpful if your goal is, to increase the conversions from social during like a quarter of the year. Social media metrics are important because they can provide you information on how well your social strategy is performing, if it's impacting your business. It gives you information about top performing posts, likes, comments, shares, and clicks, different types of insights, subscribes and unsubscribes, some types of demographics. Obviously it's best to associate a goal with a metric, but having an overall snapshot of the health of your platform also gives you insight into how best to optimize your profile moving forward. And so, because I love goal setting and I love coming up with steps to achieve those goals, I have another handout for you. It's a social media strategy template, and it goes through and gives some suggested goals, and then metrics and a timeline to help you kind of map out what it is that you want to do. With an upcoming campaign or a product launch, maybe you have a summer collection coming out. Now is the time to get that campaign rolling. Also, I thought just for fun, I would show a snapshot of Sprout Social. It is a third-party platform that I use quite frequently to manage social media efforts, coordinate efforts, and to really drill down into insights and analytics. So this was a screenshot from one of their training courses that I've taken in the past. I love the type of information that they share. You can see impressions, engagements, message link clicks. I can also do reputation management through Sprout Social. I promise I don't get paid anything for telling you anything about Sprout Social. It's just something that I use quite frequently. I've also used, Meta as well. I've used Facebook and Instagram individually to publish, create, publish, schedule posts and campaigns. That's all worked really great. I've used other third-party platforms as well. Some of you may use some. Would be happy to hear what you use to send out your posts, to publish content. So if you want to drop that into the chat. But really in regards to metrics, finding a way that you can get into the back end, learn about your business, learn about your social media, and measure your metrics and be able to compare from campaign to campaign, week to week, month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year is super helpful. And the more you have to dig, the harder it's going to be and the longer it's going to take and the less likely that you're going to do it. And so finding ways to make that process easier to help you make decisions a little more quickly will be worth its weight in gold. So that's why I pay for platforms like Sprout. All right. That is the end of our social media presentation, using social to promote your online store. I did definitely tailor this presentation to e-commerce businesses, but there are so many other things that we could dive into. So if you have specific questions like Maggie had, or like Angela had, feel free to reach out. That's my contact information, but I will include a link with steps on how to verify your Instagram account. Give that to Jordan.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Natalie. I do know we had a couple people jump on after we had started. We did start right at 1, so I apologize for those who didn't get the very beginning of today's webinar, but you will receive a recording of today's session, so you can go back and listen to anything that you may have missed, and you'll also get all of the resources that Natalie discussed throughout the presentation, including those worksheets that were referenced. As a reminder, that email will go out Wednesday morning due to being out of the office tomorrow for a conference. So I do apologize for that, but I will get it to you all as soon as possible. We don't have any questions coming in. We do have multiple thank yous. I do want to reiterate what we have coming in. Thank you so much, Natalie, for presenting. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. Let's see, and I will be sure to include that contact information for Natalie in the follow-up email as well, so that you don't have to necessarily go to this last slide of the presentation to get that. You can get it straight out of the email. But we don't have any other questions coming in, so I am going to go ahead and wrap up. Once again, thank you, Natalie, for presenting, and thank you, everyone who joined us today.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day, everybody. Bye.